Happy Tuesday, Emily.
Hello, happy Tuesday. My most least favorite day of the week.
Your most least favorite day of the week.
Like, okay. I love it because Dear Bossy comes out. Sort of bossy. I mean, Dear Bossy, sort of bossy, same thing. But I hate Tuesdays. I've said this many times. It's still true. So
it's one of those days where we're actually, the podcast goes live on Tuesdays and we're recording on a Tuesday. That's why I said that. That's why I said Happy Tuesday.
Yeah. It's really Tuesday. So
was true.
Yeah.
I wanted to make mention of my necklace that you mentioned earlier because I didn't fully get to talk to you about it.
Yes.
I wanted to save it a little bit for the pod. But
okay, perfect.
I got this as a Mother's Day present.
Yes.
From Kit.
It's perfect.
And yesterday I usually sleep with all my stuff on, my normal necklaces because it's like way too much work to take the clasps on and off.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't bother me anymore. But I did not sleep with this in just because I felt like it was gonna be a problem.
Yeah. For those who are only audio only, it's like a elastic necklace.
It's like little rubber bands.
It's called rainbow loom is what the actual like thing is, where you weave mini elastics together.
Yeah, and like my eldest was in a like bracelet making like extra club. I don't know. Yeah. Like a club, but during school hours, they get to like sign up for. And she signed up for that. And so she's obviously been working on her bracelet and necklace making skills. And she made this for me for Mother's Day, which is like the sweetest thing. And then I forgot to put it back on yesterday when I woke up. And then yesterday afternoon, she was like, did you forget to put your necklace on? I was like, oh, I'm sorry. So even though this doesn't like look super professional with all the like, it's pretty chunky. It's,
very bright.
It's very bright. It's something that I will now have to wear. So because she already noticed when I didn't.
Yeah.
So here it is.
I love it. I think it's adorable.
Okay, thank you.
And it like suits your vibe.
In the stack, I got a stack going on. Like, am I going to wear this to a wedding? Probably not.
Probably not. But it's also easy to take on and off. And it looks particularly good with your cerulean blue shirt.
With the blue. Yeah, it does. It does. She's going to love that.
But yeah. Tell her I said. Miss Emily said it's beautiful. Great. And I would like one.
Yeah. One day I was like, because I have to like clean out their backpacks. Sometimes they get so heavy. I'm like, what is in here? I'm like, you must be carrying like a brick, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like going through and she has one of these, the rainbow looms, the necklace type thing, except it's like the length of my whole body. Like it's so long. I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, oh, do you like that? I made that. I'm like, it's amazing. I don't know how you had the time for this, but it's amazing. Yeah.
My niece brought her, it was a leash for her stuffed dog she brought to our house and then forgot it. And so then I had to bring her leash, her rainbow loom leash back. I saw them the next weekend. They live a couple hours away from me.
Yeah.
And I did not realize that half of it had broken. So I brought her, I thought I was being like the best auntie in the world. Here's your rainbow loom leash back. It was half as long as it was supposed to be.
And it was probably still really long. So you had no idea that half of it could be missing.
Length,
Yeah.
So I did eventually find the other half of it in our house somewhere. So, but the attachment to these things is they're committed. They're committed to the bit. So
I get it. Do you think we should pick a affirmation for the podcast community?
Obviously.
All right. Sandy from our team made these like Taylor Swift affirmation cards. Tayformations for us, and we pick one every Monday on our team call. But I feel like we should pick one on Tuesday for the podcast. So tell me when to stop, and I'll pick that card. What if I told you I'm a mastermind? It's
actually so good. It's so perfect for us. When we saw Taylor Swift in Tampa in April of 2023, and when she played Mastermind, I looked at Adrienne and I said, this is my song about you, because I masterminded my way into your heart from day one.
Told you.
5 years later, we're at Taylor together.
Yeah.
And now look at us.
Look at us now.
I know, right? That was 3 years ago. Ew, did you know that? 3 years.
Yeah, because every so often I have to like scroll back to my photos to find like some from our photo shoot or whatever, because we did a photo shoot that same week that you came down. And yes, I remember like my baby was small, oldest was toddler. We went to the beach. We went to
the aquarium.
To the aquarium.
Clearwater.
We did the Taylor Swift
thing. We wore see-through clothes, Taylor Swift. It was great.
Yeah.
I had the bright idea of wearing like pleather shorts in Tampa.
Yeah.
I mean, it was April, but still. Listen, April in Tampa is still way hotter than Ontario ever gets.
Very true.
Like, at least when it's hot here, there's like a nice breeze off the lakes, you know? Like,
yeah.
Anyway.
We don't have that.
No.
Anything else on your minds?
No.
Before we dive in?
No, I'm ready.
I'm
ready to jump in.
To get to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a question. I'm going to read the question and then we're going to answer it. How about that?
I love that format.
Yeah. Really novel, you know?
Yeah. I have a topic. Let's discuss it.
And we're going to discuss it. And that's what this podcast is going to be about.
Groundbreaking.
Oh my gosh. Okay. How do you give clear, actionable feedback on someone's work without just telling them exactly what to do or rewriting it yourself? They said, in the past, I've found it's been very easy to either be too vague, like, oh, this just needs to be stronger, or too direct, which means I'm basically rewriting the whole thing for them. And neither really helps the person to improve. So how can I find like a happy balance of getting them to take the ownership, but I'm able to communicate the feedback that I'm actually trying to provide, right? You look like you want to say something.
I have thoughts. Okay,
go ahead.
Okay. So especially about like, so I understand like feedback and we want to give people opportunities to grow and stuff like that. But I think for a lot of tasks, projects, especially things that are like creative or truly are like preferences that have not been communicated yet, I actually don't have a problem with rewriting the thing and saying, this is what you submitted, or this is what you did. This was my rewrite. I'm going to go through the differences so we can note like, maybe this is feedback I've given you before that you haven't applied versus like, I didn't know I hated this until I saw it in writing. Like, this is why I changed like X.
Preferential type of feedback.
Exactly. And like, I think that's what we're getting. I mean, of course, if it's wrong because they like have the wrong dates or whatever, like that's a whole other thing. But this sounds to me like creative feedback. Like, how do I get someone to produce a result that's closer to what I would produce?
Mm-hmm.
And if what you would produce is drawing on like a lot more experience, a lot more insight, a lot more knowledge about the topic, it takes time to impart that. And I believe the fastest way is to be like, here's a rewrite. Here's the difference. I want you to like note these. And then on the next piece, I expect it to be closer to my result, the results that I would be looking for. Like, but here's the tangible feedback of why I changed all these things.
Right. Like giving a learning opportunity versus just do exactly this because I said so. Right.
Like yesterday, I started like a space for our clients using language from the sales page to create it. Right. Mm-hmm. And then you were like, actually, I want it to be this word instead because I relate more to that word. And I was like, okay, but like, I would have never known that. So I'm not wrong. I used the language from the sales page. You've changed your preferences.
Right.
It's easy for me to fix. It's easier for me to now use that word moving forward instead of the word we had been using. Like, that's fine. I can't read your mind. Right. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, rather than like the person sit with like, how do I like, just be direct, just be like, this is what was great about it. This is like how it's got to be improved. And next time you'll be closer to the end goal. That's how that's how I was trained. And I think it's much faster than like tap dancing around and trying to be like, I don't want to, but you might have a difference of opinion than me.
I think it's like, I think that's true. Right. And I think it's like, I think the person is trying to say it's either this or this, and I think that that's like a false choice, right? I don't think that we have to go, oh, either I'm giving vague feedback or I'm rewriting the whole thing, right? I think that's a false choice that we're feeling boxed in to make. And I think the third like solution, like you're saying, is, and I think we're similar in what we're saying, is like prompting them with questions potentially for learning, but also communicating a standard instead of just rewriting. So sometimes when we're delegating something or we're trying to give feedback, like stronger is vague because stronger is different to you than it is to me. Right. So is there a standard of what stronger even means that we're actually trying to communicate? And instead of just communicating stronger, communicate what is the actual like what are we actually looking for? And so I think there's like a level of specificity that has to happen when it comes to standards and expectations that don't necessarily require us to rewrite the whole process or redo the whole thing sometimes, but for us as the leaders to get more clear on what do I actually want? Like, what does stronger even mean, right? Like, what do I mean by that? Because that's to me kind of lazy feedback, right? It's not even vague feedback, it's lazy feedback. It's like we don't really want to do the work of figuring out what we actually want. So we want to put the onus on them to have to figure it out by going, make it stronger.
I don't like this, but I can't articulate why. So it's just not good enough. Okay, great. That's subjective, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What do you mean by that? You know?
Yeah, so that's a good language term, right? Like instead of making it stronger, like stronger is subjective, make it better is subjective, or I just don't like the way this flows, that's subjective, right? But so instead of making your feedback subjective, turn your feedback into an objective standard for people that they can actually measure themselves against, that they know, you know, what are the criteria of what we're actually looking for here, so that I can actually meet the mark without you needing to do it for me every single time. And I think what you're saying does give them that insight, right? It does give them, here's what the standard is, but you're walking them through it as you do it, which I think is a great way to give feedback because people are learning. I think that just clarifying for people, like a lot of times our feedback doesn't land or it doesn't get us where we want to go with people because it's lazy feedback that is completely subjective, right? And I've done this over the years, and it's easier sometimes to just redo it yourself. And so again, whether you're choosing choice 1 or choice 2 that you gave, and I'm speaking to the question writer, but I'm really speaking to all of us, right? Like whether it's, oh, I'm going to give them vague, make it stronger feedback, or I'm going to rewrite it for them. Both of those are actually the lazy options, right? It's like, oh, it's easier for me to just do it myself. Of course, it's easier for you to do it yourself because you haven't put in the effort to figure out what is it that I actually want? What is it that I actually mean by this, right? What is the standard that I'm asking for so that someone can actually rise and meet it? And I don't know if that's like intentional for some people or just like a subconscious thing, but I think sometimes you don't even want people to meet your standard because it's like an ego thing of like, oh, see, like I am the only one who can do this.
Yeah.
Right. So then we just like we give, this false opportunity of delegation, this false hope that you're going to be able to do it, when in actuality, I'm never really even giving you the opportunity to do it well, because I've never been clear for myself on what I like and don't like, or what the standard is, or what it's not, or what criteria we're actually looking for within this area of operation, or within this project, or within this task, or within this creative idea. And so like for you as the delegator, to take the time to really think through like, okay, like what is the gap in terms of what I'm missing from them, and how can I actually name that versus what is the fix, right? I think that's the difference, right? Like what is the gap versus what is the fix? Mm-hmm. Because then they can come up with the fix if you just name the gap for them, right? But you have to be specific enough with the gap that you're not just being like, oh, like I need it to be stronger. It's like, oh, it's missing these 3 pieces whenever we write this type of content, or whenever we work with clients, like we always have to do these 3 things. So how would you go about doing that, knowing this new standard of information, right? And so it's like trying to get them to learn so that they're creating some ownership as well over the process without handing it to them necessarily on a silver platter and telling them like, I'm not going to tell them exactly what to fix, because I also want them to put their flavor or their spin on it or their approach. But I can be specific with what the gap is or what my standard is so that they actually have a chance to succeed. I think most of the time we don't give people a chance to succeed, and then we just take it back away from them and redo it ourselves or get frustrated and fire them.
Yeah, I think that I have a little bit more of a like complicated relationship with this question, because like getting feedback, like I want this to have, like, prime example, I think it was a couple weeks ago, I want this to have like more energy. Like that's feedback you gave me. And I was like, I don't know what that means. Like, you need to be more specific with me, because like at this point also, like I had written a bunch of stuff. I was like, okay, but like this is news, you know? Yeah. And it's still like, you know, you gave me some examples like of like this kind of writing or this example. And so like, that made it easier. But I still think that when it comes to creative feedback, the people, your own individual like assessment of someone else's work is way too subjective to be like, this is a standard always, you know, like people are constantly changing. Like you have never given me the feedback, I want this to be more energized.
Right.
In my writing. And I was like, okay, well, this is new. So I don't know. And so it's like, this is something new to you. So now we're at a place where we need to like retrain or like add some new flavor, add some like appendixes to like the training documents. Because I also think that people have this expectation that like they're going to create this SOP and then they're never going to have to help their team again. Like I put it in an SOP, so you should be able to do it now. Meanwhile, like I just said, like from week to week, like things change, the market changes, the way we just words come in and out of like our vocabulary, the way that we talk to our customer changes, like all of those, like we're not allowed to use an M dash anymore. I mean, I know we use them, but like
that's how I write. It's so hard for me.
You've always written like that, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so like all these things change over time. And I think that a lot of people are like, well, I explained to you how I wanted it, so you should be able to do it perfectly now. Like they're not willing to invest the time to properly train someone also on their changing like preferences over time.
And I think that's the piece, right? Like, sure, you can like set it and forget it if you don't have a preference change, right, that's happening, or a market change that you have a subjective attachment to, right? Like if you're willing to let the team like adapt to the market and go, oh, okay, like in their area of operation, like I'm letting them do this, you know, do the studying and see what's changing, and they're going to be the ones to adapt to it. But like that's number one. If you're wanting to be involved in that part of the process, then yeah, you have to expect that you're going to have to update what you originally communicated and know that like
people aren't going to get it right every time.
Exactly. And that there's going to be iterations, but that you have to continue to try to articulate, right? And even my feedback of like, oh, there needs to be more energy. Like that's terrible delegation, right? Like even just having this conversation, I'm like, yeah, that was terrible, right? And then you asked for clarification. I was like, oh, good point. What does that mean, right? Like I know what it means for me because that's how I was writing. That's what I was, you know, feeling energized to put into my work, and it means this and it means this. And so that's when I was like, oh, let me at least give you some examples, and then if that's still not clear enough, I need to do a better job of creating an objective standard, like we're talking about. Like, okay, well, how does Emily track that when she's trying to, you know, maybe write a communication that's coming from me or even coming from you, just coming from the brand that still sounds the way I want it to sound. I think there's a part of it is like recognizing that I have changed. Like every day I'm a new person, right? So it's like if the brand or if the messaging or if the creative aspects of your company are going to represent you, and some businesses do and some businesses don't, right? Like,
yeah.
So it's like for some of you, this is completely irrelevant because like it shouldn't be changing all the time based on how you woke up that day. And for others, you have a personal brand and you're very involved in the content or the delivery or the vibes of what you're putting out into the world. And this will make more of an impact, but still being mindful that someone on the team isn't getting it wrong because you're waking up different every day and maybe having a shift in the standard or a shift in what you want from them. And so it's like, okay, being mindful of like, is this too many shifts, right? And like, that's not fair to the team member. And then I'm making it impossible for them to meet a standard that I'm constantly changing. And in that regard, like, is the change necessary, or is it just, something I woke up that morning and I maybe need to just practice some restraint, and it's not going to make or break things, or it doesn't really change the outcome, right? And so it's not something that should even be messed with. Or is it important enough that we take the time to develop, okay, what is the new standard, or how is the vibe shifting, and how do we describe what that vibe is well enough that someone else could replicate it, right? And meet a standard of it, so that I don't have to be constantly involved, or so that I'm not being personally subjective of like, oh, I'm going to take it back over because you can't do it as well as me. It's like, that's not the goal, and that's not helpful. Mm-hmm. But I think being self-aware of that is really important. So this is like an important conversation. It's not just like a set it and forget it. But if you are changing and then you're disappointed in what they're producing, is that a them or a you, right? It's probably a you that you never updated the standard. And in that regard, again, don't be lazy. Like, make sure you're being clear on the standard, clear on what you're actually asking, and doing the due diligence so that they can actually be successful for you, and that you're not, getting pulled back in just because you're being too lazy to figure it out.
Yeah, I think it's like so important to remember that for both sides of this equation, that like also sometimes you don't know if something doesn't meet standard or something has become a standard until you like aren't seeing it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, half the time I don't know that there's a problem with something or I don't like something until I'm faced with it. And I'm like, oh, I actually really don't like that formatting, or I really don't like XYZ. And this is the first time I'm seeing it. So now I need to make it a new standard. And I think that's totally fine. And I think if that's also how you learn, I think that's really important to communicate. This is an aside, a great time to be referencing like user manuals, which I don't know if we want to go down that rabbit hole right now, but it's just like a little one sheeter that explains how you as an individual learn and how you like to take feedback, how you like to give feedback, all of that kind of stuff, because that's so important to remember. Like, personally, if I write something or I create something and you're like, I do not like this, I would learn best if we hopped on a Zoom, screen shared, you rewrote it as we were like, okay, this is why I'm changing this. I record this, I put the transcript into Claude, and Claude spits out like some standards that I need to follow. Like, that's how I would learn best. Other people would hate that. You know what I mean? So you also, as a leader, need to adapt to, if you want a strong team who takes feedback and implements it quickly, you need to figure out how they take feedback so they can implement it quickly, and not just a blanket statement like, this is how we operate. The most successful teams leaders actually focus on like, what is going to make my team most successful and how can I support that? Because if your goal is growth, exit, and whatever, like, your team needs to succeed. So yeah, work with them, not the other way around.
Exactly. No, I think that's like super important for us to not just get frustrated, right? Like, I think sometimes the default is to just get frustrated and then think you need to do it yourself. And that's not it. It's just that you have to be committed to doing the work of supporting them enough. Yeah. So that they can do it.
Right? Like, they're never going to succeed. I'm going through this with my kids right now because I have created these little monsters who can't get themselves ready for school in the morning. It's my own fault because I refuse to push them and push through the discomfort of making them do this stuff on their own because it's too hard for me. I'd rather just keep doing the way we're doing, even though I resent it. It's the same kind of situation. Like, you have two choices. You can like resent that they're not getting it right, or you can be uncomfortable in the training process and like understand though that's temporary, you know?
Yeah. I'm just like so proud of my kids lately because they get dressed on their own and then come downstairs. And Kit is like
the big win.
I'm the first one down. Like she loves
Love
now. Like now it's like a competition for her. So she's like up, getting dressed. I set out her clothes the night before. I set out both their clothes the night before. They get up, they get dressed, they brush their teeth. I do their hair for them, so they have to come downstairs, get their hair done.
Yeah. I still do my daughter's hair too. That's fine. Yeah. I don't mind doing it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I'm at the point where my kids are like, they need to start being able to like make their lunch. Yeah. And consistently, my son especially needs to be able to consistently wake themselves up.
Yeah.
But like, it's just so much I don't want to have that fight. I don't have that fight in me right now. So I'm like, this is the hard I'm choosing. I'll choose the other hard probably next school year, but for now I'm just going to choose this hard, you know?
You know, and that's like part of it is like sometimes recognizing that you're not ready to do the hard thing, you know, that like, you know what you need to do to get where you actually want to go. And this is entrepreneurial. This is business. This is life. This is everything. Yeah. It's like, I know like what I actually need to do. And I know the result I'm actually looking for, but right now I'm in a season where I'm not ready or I'm unwilling. And so I'm just going to keep doing the thing
that's hard right now. The comfortable hard as opposed to the uncomfortable hard.
Yes. And like I forget who used to say this, but like it's basically like paying credit instead of cash, right? You're like I'm paying credit right now on this. I'm gonna pay for this someday.
I'll pay for this someday. Yeah,
I'm putting this on credit, right?
Yeah.
And it's just the recognition of like I am paying credit, like, because I understand that at some point I'm gonna have to pay for this, but it's not right now.
It's and for
today. Some of us in some areas of our life, we're like, I'm just paying cash. I know that it's hard. Like, I'm just gonna pay it. I'm gonna do it right now, and go through the hard season now, and then be done with it, right?
Yeah.
So,
love that. That's a great analogies. I don't know. Is that an analogy or is that? I
never know.
Right.
If it's an analogy or a metaphor.
But great.
Like master's degree educated, but still can't tell the difference, you know? Same thing with effect and affect.
We talk about this like once every 6 months and I still can't figure it out.
Sometimes I think someone corrected me recently. I wrote a post or something and it was like, I put the wrong one and they corrected me. And I was like, thank you, because I don't know.
Yeah. I just guess. I got 50-50, you know?
I got 50-50 and most of the time I'm going to get it wrong here.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a wrap on today. Under 30 minutes. Good for us.
All right. Well, if you would like to submit a question or a challenge, anything that's going on in your world for Sorta Bossy, you can go to sortabossypodcast.com. We would love to hear your submission and talk about it on our next episode. So see you there. Bye.